welcome back to Clark's Place. Today we're going to take a look at a package I just got in from Coast Airbrush. Took a couple weeks to get because they had something on back order and had to email and phone call and lots of checks and balances to get them to ship the stuff out finally, but it did arrive, so we'll take a look. We'll unbox here and see what we got. Alright, got a Paasche airbrush. I think it's a VL, I think is the number. Got several of these bottles. Oh, several of those bottles. And I heard these were the good ones that you can just set your airbrush down with those on the base of them. And we got some gloves. And we got a new Iwata. Alright, let's take a look, see what we got here. Alright, little Iwata sticker. Siphon feed, airbrush instructions. Little test thing, I guess. Maybe somebody actually sprayed that out, I don't know. I think it's pretty small if that's what this does. And then looks just like my regular Iwata. But I'm hoping this goes on there. Thinking that's the way you'd put that on, to where it's feeding kind of the front as you're airbrushing, but I don't know. I've never used a siphon feed airbrush before. So, kind of sets like that. That ain't too bad. That'll make a nice little platform. That's what I heard about those, that they were nice, that you could just set them on a platform. So, let's check out the old Paasche. I think I got the VL2 is what I thought, but it says VL or VL5. I'm not sure which one this is. It says VL and somebody scratched it out 5L. So it's the VL5 maybe? This seems quite a bit thicker than my normal that I've been used to. But we'll see how this goes too. I guess that'll hold that too. That's kind of good. The VL's already fallen apart out of the box. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. Yeah, I'm not sure how that top really works. It doesn't really bend, so I thought I saw some the guns that people had that were like level, because this is like wanting to flop to the side. Yeah, the only thing that's swiveling is the gun on that. That doesn't swivel, so that's going to be how they set, just like that. So the Iwata comes with a little bottle that I won't use, probably. And then I think there's some stuff underneath here. Oh, the cap of the Iwata is off too, so don't know why both of those are off. And we got a blue and a cleaner, some lube, and then another airline. So not airline like you fly on, but you get what I'm saying. And then it doesn't come with a quick disconnect that I see. I thought I saw on some guy's video that there was a quick disconnect in with it, but I have a bunch of them. Nope, that's just the standard connector, and that's just the standard connector. So no quick disconnect that I see. That's what it will be spraying some glow colors with. Hopefully. This is a 0.7, this is a 0.5, I believe. So we'll see, testing out which one will actually do good for the metallic here. We got fluorescent orange, fluorescent purple, got some green. Yeah, I think this was the one that they said was discontinued, so they had to sub one. And I got some UV glow clear, some multi-surface airbrush coloring, and this says Wicked UV Glow Base, and then some fluorescent red. So I think we're gonna make some cool colors on the Metallica with some actual airbrush glow-in-the-dark colors. So I'm still going to test. That's a video, and what I didn't see a lot of people had done is any kind of video to make these colors work, to get them to go through an airbrush. So I think it's going to go through this Paasche, however you say it, since it's the widest tip, but we'll see if we can get it to go through the Iwata as well. The airbrush group on Facebook suggested I get a couple of them. I've got the Iwata, Eclipse, HP-BCS, I believe, and then the Paasche VL 5. They both have some advantages. I think the Eclipse will be a workhorse for the train set that we've got going for a lot of the colors, but I think the Paasche might with the 0.7 tip, or 0.07, I'm not sure, but I think that will allow some more color to push through. So we're gonna try a couple test spray outs here, and then maybe get some of that glow paint to spray on this Metallica here thing we got going. So stay tuned, good stuff in this video. That I thought they laid flat. Well, this one, you can see, I ordered a set of 3 of them. They have different angles on the tips. You can see this one puts that up at an angle, like a 45-degree angle, where this one lays almost flat. Like I said, that the guy, I saw a video that showed that his guns were all laying pretty flat. So watch the angle that you buy your guns apparently at, or buy your bottles, because there are different angles. So if you like your angle flat, look for one that is coming up almost vertical, or if you want it at an angle, look for one that the tip is actually pointed more level, not up like that. So quick thing about the bottles, same with these. If you order these smaller bottles, they also have different angles out of these tops. All right, getting going here. I've got the mask laid back out over that, and that pink color, I just tried it in the Paasche gun here, but you can see I just mixed it, I don't know, maybe 50-50 with the water. A lot less. I tried it straight, just straight paint, and it would spray, but it wasn't coming out like that. I mean, you can see it's putting out a ton of paint, and wasn't getting clogged. Just threw in probably 50% water, and it sprayed just like the regular airbrush colors. So I would say that Paasche gun, if you're going to use those acrylic colors, which we're going to use a ton of them because they're super cheap. I don't know, they're like, you can get them on sale for like $2 or something at Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics or something like that. So I'm always grabbing those bottles of that acrylic, just acrylic paint. They mixed with water down pretty good and went through that Paasche really good. So I was pleased that I finally got a solution for that. I tried it through. You can see I'm cleaning the Paasche gun right there, and it's a little bit janky there. It doesn't quite feel as well constructed as the Eclipse guns, but you'll see I do clean the Eclipse gun as well. That's the last of the Paasche going back together there as I cleaned all that out. And then I did try, it's got like a 0.5 tip in it. So, or a 0.05, I forget what they are, but one's 5, one's 7. That Eclipse is 5, and it, even watered down, it was not allowing that paint to go through. Now, maybe I could push it up with like pressure through the big compressor, but I just used that a little Iwata compressor that does like 30 or 40 pounds, something like that. So, actually ended up going pretty good. Everything goes back together. Very pleased with both of the guns, and I think I'll be able to use them for a lot of different projects here and there. So back to live audio. Alright, here we are with a bunch of airbrush new colors. We're going to put in a line. We're going to go test with the UV light. Then we're going to do some more sprays and see what we think. I did the pink yesterday with the UV pink here, and it actually flowed pretty good. Mixed about half and half water with that, and I was pretty pleased with it. But Before I throw the final, I've got some more options. I'm not sure how well the fluorescence will show up, so we're just gonna put a dot of each, smear them, and see what we think of them. Hopefully these fluorescents will show up pretty good, because these are all actual airbrush paints, and then these are UV. These are just fluorescents. This is a Wicked color. This is just a fluorescent green, and that's what they were showing, like reflective online. But reflective and glow in the dark, I don't think are necessarily the same thing. So, bloop, 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 bloop. And I'm putting it on some white paper this time, just because the yellow paper seems to actually be pretty reflective, so I don't want to give any of these colors false hope. So I'm going to do this and actually mark which ones show up under UV the best. Okay, so that, and I think I will just do a little swipe job here and see what we think of these apples. All right, come with me. Let's go test it out. Okay, so once again, I've just connected the 2 alligator clips to a light in the pinball machine, and it comes down to the UV light. I've only got one of them connected. Here's my colors, and then we'll throw some UV on them. Ooh, those look pretty good. Purple just looks kind of like black, but the UV, this one here and this one here were just the UV glow, and I don't, yeah, they stay glowing, but I think really the only one I don't like is that guy right there. All of them have a pretty good glow to them. Yeah, except the bottom guy, or second to last down there, not really thrilled with. And this is just on a white paper. You can see it's not really glowing. And that purple just kind of, it's not really popping like glowing. So, I don't know. I'll start spraying some colors on it, see how it ends up looking, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to attempt to leave like the outer 1/4 inch or so, that bright pink color, and I'm going to come in with some purple and shade just inside to give it a back shadow. That back shadow will kind of be mimicking this dark area. Looks like it's kind of neon around the outside, which mine is kind of pink around the outside and pink down this here. So the artwork on this, and I think the Metallicas are all different on all 3 models, but this shade is just kind of in just a little bit. So we'll step it in a little bit, kind of give it that darker purple that's supposed to be reflective, and that should go with the purple and pink and blue. All that should go together, so we'll see. Okay, just getting prepared here and going through, and just I'm doing, like I said, I believe that I wanted about a 1/4 inch or so reveal around the outside. And as this whole project went along, it just kind of evolved. I thought I was just going to do the blue with the pink, and then bought some new airbrushes, bought some different paints, and as you get new stuff and as you get different things, you decide to do lots more than what you could have originally. So basically this little section here, I'm just going through and trying to get as close to around about a 1/4 inch. I'm not measuring anything or making anything precise, just because you are airbrushing, and you can make a super crisp line. But the whole project I knew was going to end up just kind of blended and oversprayed and color upon color upon color, just to see what effect actually came out of it. You see, just for some of the precise stuff, like the A's, where the different corners are that it came down. I wanted some precise angles, but as far as the exact measurement of a 1/4 inch off of everything or 1/8 of an inch, I didn't really get that detailed. So I am cleaning up the corners though, because I did want some fairly sharp lines. This is for spraying the purple. You'll see I kind of went around there with my finger and just made sure there was a good sealed edge all the way around the outside. And then since I'm using the airbrush colors, I just grabbed the Eclipse and just used it. That's my most comfortable gun that I like working with. And I'm not really thrilled with the bottle, like the siphon guns. I don't know why, if it's just speed or if it's just what I'm used to, but I liked just grabbing that Eclipse and just throwing the paint that I want, holding the trigger on the end of it. It mixes with a little bit of water, and actually this stuff I really didn't thin down hardly at all. You see it's going on pretty decent there, as I just threw a little bit of water with it, mixed it just with a little bubbler, and then going through, and you can see it's starting to lay out there. Yeah, but this'll leave the outside edge that pink color. And then, like I said, nothing really super precise. As I was doing those, like the corners of the letters, I wanted a little more weight in the corners of the letters. So like that bottom of that T there, you'll see I spent a little bit of a time there and just kind of made sure it was a pretty deep, dark line. Most of just the outlines, I just kind of sprayed it, and it wasn't super duper heavy. But those corners of the M's, you'll see the corners of the A as I get down to this right side here. Not that A that I'm working on right now, but just as I got down into those V's, those deep V's there, I really wanted a deep color purple there. So yeah, even up there in that L there, all the corners I just tried to concentrate a little bit on so I could get some good definition, because I knew I'd be coming over with some different colors over the top of them. So even that C there, I've got quite a bit of extra color heavy in the corners. Yeah, I thought that made for a nice effect. The purple actual airbrush paint, that pink that's the line across the center of all the letters, that pink is the acrylic. It's actual glow in the dark pink paint. And then this purple, it was the actual airbrush paint. I just pressed it down there a little bit. Must have been coming up. The purple is the airbrush paint, so it doesn't have that serious glow in the dark. As far as looking at it though, it's pleasing. It seems to blend with that pink, and you get a little bit of transition with the colors. You can see the difference in them, but the purple I thought was a pretty good accent with the pink, with the blue, and then get a little more crazy here in the next stages with some other colors as well. When I peel this, I'm not sure if I saved the audio or not. When I peeled the bottom of that C down there, and even when I was trimming some of the letters, that paint isn't really stuck on there the best, so I kind of had to be a little bit careful. Yeah, you can see I'm putting quite a bit of paint there in the corner of that A. As I was peeling, I'd say 95% of it all peeled perfect, no issues. But where I had trimmed the letters, like I think around the C, I had to cut and actually make a line for the C so it was circular. And then the corners of the A, like where the points came together, where I cut the tape and made a cut tape, it almost wanted to peel the paint. It's like I cut through the surface of the paint and then it almost wanted to peel up. So I think that was kind of the inspiration for the red. And like I said, see that where that C just peeled up, where it's white there at the bottom of that C, that peeled up some of the blue that was already down there. So there it's revealing that pink on the outside of the A. And I think when I was at this point, I was like, that's pretty darn slick looking. I might just keep that. But then we do a little more. But yeah, I thought all that pink looked pretty good transitioning into the purple, and where it was the purple paint that I was spraying over white, I thought it blended really good with the pink, but then where the purple was spraying over the blue, it made a nice deep blue. So that one color had quite a bit of effect there. Alright, you can kind of see how the letters look. That purple is not too bright though. And I just have one LED strip, UV LED strip, and that's shining pretty good in the dark here. I think I need some reds and some more shiny colors, because the purple, maybe I'll go around the outside, touch up some spots with some red, just make some more bright colors, because that pink, I really like that pink shining, and that blue is really reflective too, but the purple is pretty muted. So we'll just keep adding colors to this until we like it. Alright, threw a little red in here. Looks pretty kind of pink though. Just gonna throw some more color on here. I think the edge is kind of sinister and red, a little bloody. Alright, so grab the red, and I'm at that C section right there. Not a C section, but the bottom of the C where that section of paint actually lifted up a little bit, and just kind of blending that and starting to get an idea of what I think that red's gonna do, and actually thinking it's gonna turn out pretty cool. So I start to do it, and then I get some other ideas in my pea brain as well. Yeah, I'm thinking just the bottom edge, this reddish color, reddish pinkish, and then I might do some of the yellowish or orange up at the top, because this is that red. Maybe that orange around the top, maybe a little green. And since they're airbrush colors, they're going through my Eclipse really well. With the regular little compressor, no need for the big compressor. Alright, back at it here, and I think that coming up with a little bit of game plan there, I decided I was just gonna start to go a little more crazy with the red here. So you'll see as it goes, I'm starting to get a little more coverage, and almost covering that whole part that was just exposed. It wasn't as consistent as I had hoped. I've got some white that looks like it's framed. It really just didn't frame it. And that's kind of what I was looking for, is to really give a bright color on the outside. And that metal is about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch thick, the width of a thin paintbrush or so. And you can see that red overspray that's going on the bottom. I just start to put a lot of that on the outside. And the more I was spraying, the more that I was liking it, and liking how the shadow looked on everything. And I think I'm about done with the red here. And yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I started in with the orange here again. and just going back through, and I was doing the sides of the letter, thinking I'll do orange on the sides of the letters, and it just, the sides of the letters I just wasn't pleased with. So I get a little crazy with the cheese whiz here in a little bit. Yeah, there I'm going back even more liberal. Maybe I'm still on the red. It looked like orange at the top, but it looks like I'm still on red there. Yeah, maybe, because it looks like I just continue to make that outside edge, outside the frame of the purple, more of like that solid color. Oh, now I grabbed the orange. I just grabbed the orange, so now I'm doing top edge of everything. I think I started with the orange, and then I know that orange really reacted with the UV light. That was one of the brightest colors out of all of them. So I think I just started putting orange in all of the centers of the letters as well. So yeah, I'm tracing out and kind of that purple frame that I gave myself. There I'm bubbling and mixing the orange down there, and then I'm just spraying that orange, just kind of seeing what it'll do. And as I was doing it, I thought, this isn't looking too bad. The Metallica colors, there's a lot of flames, there's a lot of orange, red, blues, definitely. So I stuck with that theme, and that's kind of all the colors that I bought that were all UV reactive colors. And just went through and just put a lot of orange in kind of the center block of all of the letters there. And I think as I was doing it, I just thought, I'll do a little light coat, see how I like that. And like that A, I think, was the brightest one at that point with the orange in the center. I was like, yeah. And then I went over the M again. I'm like, yeah, this is looking pretty good as a solid, thick color. You can still see some pinks underneath. You can still see the purples. So you'll start to see me get a little more and a little more orange over everything. And I was trying to decide there which color would be the best for the actual outside frame. And there's the color. It's a yellow. And at first I thought I was going to do this and like, let me try just a little bit here and see how I like that. And then this is actual glow in the dark. I think it's folk paint. And when I put that on the outside frame, and as I was looking at it, I was putting it on really thick because I wanted to make some drips as well that would be glowing, because in the game, on the game, there's a couple of the Metallica logos that things are kind of dripping off of it and stuff too. So I thought the neon yellow was really a good choice there. And I think that I put it on really thick, like blobbing it on there, almost letting it settle on that ridge of the outside of the edges of those letters, and waiting for it to drip. And then I had to actually go back over and put some extra paint in some places to make sure by the end of it I've got, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 drips. I wanted it dripping down the posts as well, so I pulled that tape back, the mask, just to make sure that as I put a ton of paint on the outside of the T right there, I wanted it, and I'm going around the E there, but I ended up putting a lot of paint on the outside edge of that just to make sure that it would actually drip down. And I don't think I put any drips over there yet. I started blobbing, just putting lots of extra paint on there. And then this, I went over this again. The first time I think my intent was to just paint it, and it wasn't going on thick enough. It was almost like washing the color out. So then I almost was just loading up the brush and just almost like letting the paint fall onto it. And then you can see that nice crisp yellow edge there. The top of the L and the top of the I there is starting to leak as I put a bunch of paint on it. The A's just leaking over there at the far right. The bottoms of the L's are starting to droop a little bit. The E is starting to droop a little bit. And under the black light, all that stuff really shows up. Not black light, but yeah, I put a lot of blob there, so it dripped down that M in that spot there. And yeah, just I think putting that yellow really fits with the whole theme of the game, and ended up, I think, bringing out all those letters. When I look at it now, it doesn't just look like a bunch of airbrush garbage up there. It actually looks like somebody had some semblance of a plan of what they're doing, even though there was none. Yeah, I put a bunch of paint there so it dripped down that post. Yep, starting to drip out of the center of the A there. I thought all that gave it some good character. And I think that drip on the right there, on the right side of the bottom of the A, I put some extra paint on it just because I wanted it more than what it was. So all those drips are intentional. I'm not a complete idiot when it came to painting this, but I wanted it as bright and as crisp, and since the outside was dark, it needed more paint to look right. Alright, that's what we're looking like. I like it a lot. With all the UV lights, several on it, I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Doesn't show up the best, but you can kind of get the idea. Yeah, it actually, the green actually keeps glowing. So yeah, gonna be neato. Bye bye.